we come to Legends Attic, we start, like we always start, with our friend Orel Hershiser.
Oh, man.
Orel, thank you as always for having us out today.
Oh, you guys are amazing to come out here to support us. We support you. We have great content, a lot of fun. We usually end up telling stories that we would never tell anywhere else.
Good. I like that. I like that. So let's jump right into it. I mean, last night, was that more the Dodgers couldn't hit, or was that Trey Savage being awesome, or was it both?
I'm glad you asked me baseball. I didn't know where you were going when you said last night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's up to you. You can go wherever you'd like.
Oh, my God.
No. What do you
Go ahead. I'm over here. Wait, where's your security? I'm touching him.
They're around.
I'm touching
watch
Orel.
out.
There it is. I got him. I'm touching him. There they
That'll
are.
be a story for
They
later.
didn't want you to get this close to Orel,
There he
DeMarco.
is.
They
I
wanted
got
to
him.
keep you at
There we
an
go.
arm's length.
No, but he had a
I think the
hell
young
of a
man
night.
had an amazing game.
Yeah.
I think he was completely different than his first outing against the Dodgers. He was able to throw his fastball and get into pitcher's counts. And once he gets into pitcher's counts with his two optical illusion breaking balls, the fork ball / splitter, and his slider that really isn't a slider, it goes straight down like a split, and sometimes it actually backs up, where a normal pitcher with normal grip and normal arm angle, then he throws a slider, it breaks, let's say, it comes in like a fastball, but it has a dot on it where the hitter can recognize the dot. Now it's not a fastball, it's a slider, and then they break, anywhere from 6 inches down to 10 inches down to 6 inches wide to 10, 12, 14 inches wide. And they have a pattern to them, and that's what I'm used to seeing from a right-hander. But this guy throws from such a high arm angle, and it's a misconception to call it an arm angle, because really it's a spine angle. You can't throw over the top and get your arm really close to your ear. Your shoulder wouldn't move very fast because it would start to get impinged. But what you do to get that high up as far as a release point is you tilt your spine, and it brings your arm that is moving at the correct angle to make it go fast and pitch, but you tilt your spine, and it makes it look like you're throwing over the top with a high arm angle.
I guess that makes it hard. So do this for me. Flip it around. What are you seeing from the Dodgers at the plate?
I think we had a combination of guys that are struggling with their swings and a guy that was executing great pitches at the strike zone, at the lower end of the strike zone, and below that strike zone. I think, he got some double play balls when he got into jams. He had some good, solid defense behind him. But these hitters on our team consistently are not playing up to their potential yet. We're still alive. They still have a shot. And hopefully it'll change very quickly. We can still win the World Series with absolutely fantastic pitching and a little bit of offense. But I thought going into this 3-game series, including last night, I thought we'd have to win 1 game with our offense and 1 game with our pitching. But we haven't won that one with our offense yet.
The pitching has been so extraordinary through really the entire postseason, Orel, that it's covered the fact that the offense really, other than the Red Series, it really hasn't clicked. Ohtani clicked a couple of different times, but the rest of the offense really has. And I know the answer to this, I think, because if anybody knew how to get out of a slump, slumps wouldn't exist.
Right.
But it's just all of a sudden the curtain dropped, because at the end of the season, they were swinging the bats pretty well. They were scoring runs. They were manufacturing runs. And then all of a sudden, Philadelphia, and maybe it was just those 3 left-handers that put everybody in a bad way, but everybody stopped hitting, not named Shohei Ohtani.
Right, and we saw quality at bats, but some of the guys were hitting the ball hard and hitting it over the fence a few times. If it was Will or it was Teoscar or whoever it was Shohei. But, the consistent length of the lineup and the grinded out at bats and the non-chase, and when you get a mistake, actually hitting it hard and getting a hit, we haven't seen that combination of what makes an offense, intimidating. They are not intimidating right now. You're kind of hoping they get it together.
Can you sense
and
that
I
as a
don't
pitcher?
even feel like we're going to get to the intimidating side that we've seen from them.
Yeah.
We just want to get to the average production of, if we can get 5 or 6 runs, it'd be absolutely awesome.
As a pitcher,
miracle.
could you sense that when you know that guys, like, they're just not right now? I can have my way with these guys. If I throw my pitches, I've got these guys.
Yeah, I explained it on Sportsnet LA with our pre- and post-game show that when I can say to myself as a pitcher after studying a guy's scouting report that he's a bad breaking ball hitter or he will chase the high fastball, the simpler the scouting report is in my mind, that means the hitter's in a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
When I have to say to myself, wow, I need to show this guy away and then bust him in. And then when I throw my breaking ball, I got to prove to him I got to land it. And then once I land it, if I do, I can then throw my chase breaking ball. I've got an equation going on in my head, and I'm planning 2 and 3 and 4 pitches ahead.
Right.
I'm making sure my defender's in the right place. I'm making sure the out is going to go to the correct side of the field for me. I'm making sure I just need a normal out compared to a strikeout. When that's the process for the hitter as he walks up or I've prepared, that's a completely different. One, you're playing chess, and one, you're playing checkers.
Yeah.
The hitters you're playing checkers with, I just go, I know if I have my stuff, you're out because I can do this to you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And it's probably the same way in defense and offense in football, you know? Right?
I knew when I had a guy, when he broke the huddle, you could see the resignation on his face. Like he knows he can't block me, and that feels good. Did you ever lock eyes with a guy before he got in the box? Like you just knew?
Oh,
like,
well,
because I would look. If a guy broke the huddle and didn't look at me,
right,
I got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I started scouting them during batting practice. I would watch them come out of the cage and then go talk to their hitting coaches. The guys who got out of the cage and felt good and didn't even take any practice swings, and I watched their BP, and they were locked in. They didn't need any coaching. But the guys that came out of the cage and maybe hit the top of the cage once or twice and then maybe hit one home run, but then the rest of them, they're fouling off. And then he come out of the cage and they're shaking their head and they're working with their bat and they're talking to their teammate or their hitting coach. I'm scouting them right from then. And I'm watching that video in the locker room, and then I'm scouting them in the on-deck circle if they're working on, like, some new tactic to use their top hand, or they're working on, I got to do this. You know, they're working on a mechanic in the on-deck circle. I'm like, okay, because I studied hitting, so I know when they're doing certain things practicing, I know what they're struggling with.
Right.
And then it also tells you where the barrel they're comfortable with taking the barrel. Are they going to be a low ball hitter today? Are they going to be a high ball hitter today? Are they trying to keep themselves to stay back on off speed? Are they trying to use the weighted bat to get and stay back and use their hands? Then they get in the box. I want to watch how they get in the box because I want to watch their mannerisms. Are they at ease? Are they comfortable? Can I break up that comfort by, buzzing the tower or making them skip rope? Do they look anxious? So I know I'll be a little bit more careful on the first pitch because I know what they're looking, and they don't like a lot of guys don't like to be booed, so they swing early because they get the at-bat over. Like Springer.
Don't like to be booed.
Altuve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different guys that come into a Dodger Stadium and get booed.
Oh, it's interesting.
You don't want to continue to get booed, so they don't usually prolong the at-bat. They usually swing in the bat within the first 2 pitches.
Never thought of that.
I never thought of that either. That's fascinating.
Years. Wow.
We're here with Orel Hershiser at Legends Attic. We're going to talk with Eric Gagne today. We're going to talk with Sean Green today. So, Orel, how many times were you in an elimination game in the postseason as far as the season ends tonight if we don't find a way to win this game?
I remember one, of course, Game 7 against the Mets.
Sure.
To get to the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't remember all of them.
Okay.
I mean, Game 163 with the San Francisco Giants, we had to fly from Colorado to Chicago to play the Cubs in Game 163, and we lost there. But, yeah.
But does it change your mentality at all? Like going into tomorrow night's game, whether it's as a player or Dave Roberts, and just the decision-making that goes in with hey, this is our last game unless we win. Does it change the way you approach hitters? Does it change the way Dave manages bullpens? Does it change the way that you match up in certain situations?
It changes everything. And the main thing it changes in comparison to is a Game 1 of a 7-game series or a Game 1 of a 5-game series. When you're to the actual elimination game, it definitely changes the way you manage. It definitely changes the way you hit. It definitely changes the way you pitch because at 90 feet or an out are just magnified.
Yeah.
And every moment in the game could change the game until the scoreboard changes. But as long as it's 1-0 or 0-0 or 2-1 or 3-2, when it got last night to 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, now you're managing to according to the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And they're managing to have a Game 6 and they have a Game 7 and they're getting on a plane and they're going home. So there's different then. But it will be different for Toronto managing the game tomorrow. and it'll be different for Dave Roberts, and then it'll be the same for Game 7.
I wonder who would be tighter, defending champs or Toronto. You know, you have.
I don't think it's about tightness right now, but I understand what you're saying of the nerves. I think it's really about we're just not executing, and they are.
Yeah.
They look like the better team.
They
and
do.
They have played better.
That's the thing.
They have played better.
They've played a lot better. They pick up ground balls. Yeah. They throw to the right base.
They're doing
they don't
everything
make mistakes
we want
on the
Dodgers to do.
They don't strike out a ton.
Yeah.
They're doing all of the things that you would think to win a series that you need to do.
Yeah, we were errorless last night, but
not really though.
But there was probably we gave away,
2 double plays,
3 or 4 bases, probably 2 or 3 outs. We threw 4 wild pitches. The presentation was terrible for an errorless game.
Yeah, you've been since you told me about blocking pitches.
Yeah.
Now I'm just dialed in. Now I see what you mean.
Yeah. When guys are on their knees, it drives me crazy.
The wild pitch from
Henriquez.
Yeah, Henriquez that wasn't Will's fault.
No,
because that was the first pitch I think he's thrown since he's been up here. I don't know, that cut. He not only threw it wild, but it actually went the opposite direction Will was expecting.
What? I have a question. One more. Have you ever got away with a pitch like when you let it go, like you knew?
Shoot, yeah, a zillion of them.
A zillion of them. Like you got away with it. Like I can't believe you didn't hit that.
Right. No, there's a saying in baseball that I'm just glad to get that ball back.
Right. Okay. Right.
Because in your mind, when it left your hand, it's supposed to be in the seats.
Yeah. Right.
And if you don't get it back, but the guy didn't get a home run, that means he fouled it straight back, and you still know you made a huge mistake.
That's Vlad. You're not getting those mistakes back. You know what I mean?
No, they did a great job ambushing Snell, and they probably, they knew everybody who analyzed Blake's first game would say he needed to have better fastball command, and you knew he was going to try and establish that. And within 3 pitches, they said, "We're going to get a fastball, and we're not coming off of it," and they connected.
I was listening to the broadcast last night on the radio when I was driving home, and Steven Nelson was talking about, and he went through it. I think the first time through the order, all 9 guys swung at either the first or the second pitch.
Wow.
Yeah. Like all 9 guys were hyper aggressive early in the count, and you could see it. They just were on the attack from the very beginning, and it felt like the Dodgers were on their heels from the very beginning.
Well, yeah, when the first pitch leaves the park, you feel like you're on your heels for sure. But and then the third pitch is out of the park too. You feel like you're on your heels, and he did an outstanding job. He pitched really well. If he gets a little better defense behind him and Teoscar decides to pull up and let that be a single instead of trying to catch it, and it turns into a triple, then after that you get the sac fly, and now the scoreboard starts to spread out a little bit because the offense is really, other than Kike's home run, barely had a hit right there. And so, the game started to get away from what looked like it's Blake's fault a little bit, but it was a team loss.
So your name came up quite a bit after Game 2 because Yamamoto threw a complete game for the second consecutive time. He was the last person to have done that for the Dodgers was you in the postseason. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems absurd to even ask the question, can he throw another 9 innings tomorrow night? Is that even in the cards?
He will.
You expect him to?
He's going to throw another shutout. Yeah, because I did, and I told him when we did our photo session that, hey, you need 1 more. I had 3. and I said, if you do 1 more, we're going to win the World Series just like we did my year.
Yeah.
Okay? So go do it.
What was his response?
Oh, he smiled and pretended like he didn't speak English. And then I brought his interpreter over, and I said, tell him this. And Yamamoto goes, no, I know.
I got it. That's one of my favorite things. I remember when I was first getting started doing this, when Hideo Nomo was pitching for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And going into the Dodger clubhouse when he was there and listening to him talk to his teammates in English.
Yeah.
And then when you would try to ask a question, I don't speak English.
Yep.
I just want those guys to be confident and go out and be themselves because and be loose. And we were a loose team in '88. These guys were probably a loose team in 2020. They were a loose team last year when they won it, and they were, they're not like us, for the saying they used. And now it's like losing is not an alternative, or whatever saying they're using now. I mean, I'm going to tell you that we were very confident and having a lot of fun that the guy who was singing the national anthem in Oakland was the guy who sang "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Oh, Bobby McFerrin.
McFerrin. Yeah. So I was out the day before I was going to pitch the last game of what became the last game of the World Series, and there was a T-shirt manufacturer on the side of the little kiosk. And I had him make a T-shirt, and I didn't let anybody see what I had him make. And then when the media left the clubhouse, and I started to get into my pregame regimen with the teammates all getting dressed and doing their thing, I put this T-shirt on and I walked around the clubhouse. I walked in the food room. I walked in the manager's office. I walked in the training room, and my T-shirt said, "Don't worry, I'm pitching."
I love that.
I like that.
There you go.
I like that.
Swag. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
So I just was
Don't
telling the
worry, I'm
team, like, everybody be loose. We're going to figure this out, and I'll take the heat.
Does Yamamoto have a little of that energy in him? That guys, I'm here. I got this.
I hope they fantasize that they are all locked in and having a blast, and they are the ones that are outplaying the opposing team, and take that attitude. Because I'll tell you, it is so much easier to perform when you feel like you're on a roll, or you are on a roll.
Absolutely.
Or you put yourself in that mindset, than to feel like it's tension, it's pressure. I could be the GOAT, the hero. It's execution thinking is way better than result thinking.
What
play like you've already gained momentum.
Yeah. Hard to fake it though, too.
Or play like everything you're worried about has already happened.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of outings in the big leagues where I worried about something, and then it happens.
Right.
And then I start throwing the ball like I got nothing to lose now, and I'm like, where was that before?
Weird, right? The mind. Yep.
What would you say to Mookie Betts? What does Dave Roberts say to Mookie Betts, who's a Hall of Fame
right
player?
field is that way.
And shortstop, he's amazing. He's going to win a Gold Glove.
What do you tell him when he is scuffling quite like that? I know he had a rough year.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't a Mookie type of year, but it's like if they're going to win 2 games in a row.
If I was Mookie's teammate right now, just in watching what we have, and I don't have to be around him for another 365 or whatever next year, and I would say this to him. I would say, play like your hair's on fire, and I don't care what happened yesterday, because we saw what he went through for almost 2.5 months in that slump. And we saw it kind of show up in his interviews. We saw it kind of show up in body language. And I don't like right now when I listen to his interviews, or when I listen, there's just something about it that's reminding me of that slump. Yeah. And what he said to come out of the slump was, today I'm just going to do something to help the team.
Yes, I give up. Yeah.
So who cares? We're in the World Series. Whatever fantasy or mindset you need to get you in a place where you know I am better off in this mindset than I am in this one, you got to pull that lever.
You got to pull the lever tonight. You got to pull it tonight, so they're ready to go tomorrow. Orel, as always, thanks for having us out. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on today as well.
Wait, hold on. Where's the security? I got him.
Yeah.
There he is. See,
I'm getting out of my car.
Look, right there.
Kind of toot my horn. I let my security guys, who are absolutely amazing, they're current police officers, maybe one ex-police officer. I'm getting out of my car. This guy, this large man, is walking towards me and kind of waving like, Orel, and it sounds like he's wanting an autograph or something. Yeah. And
he squared off.
He's probably 350 pounds and probably played.
Wow, he gave you a little extra there.
260 pounds and cut, and 2 guys had to go out and stop him.
What's that real? This is his.
And then
security.
he gives me a big hug.
But I'm like, Orel, tell him he just pretended like he didn't
I'm
see
not
me.
trying to make you feel any better.
There was a glare in my eyes. I couldn't tell it was
this
you.
guy here hasn't taken his eye off you the entire
time. I know,
time.
the whole time. Look to your right. Look to your right.
There you go.
Yes.
They've both been locked in on DeMarco Farr the entire time. Thanks, Orel. We're going to have Eric Gagne coming up in a little bit. We're going to have Sean Green coming up